card ladder.
So Hogs and Heads PC says, "What are your thoughts on the new eBay authentication process? It seems like this could cause a backlog at CSG. I think if they are leaning this way, they should also offer grading." And then Mitten States Collector says the FAQ says that this does not cover patch or autograph cards, which is true. And it does not specify what alterations, if any, the authentication process guarantees against. Feels almost inevitable that someone will get an eBay authenticated card sent to PSA or BGS for grading, and they will have it returned as either altered or fake, setting up a huge mess. So, okay.
Boom.
What do you think? What do you want to talk about here with respect to eBay? And basically, like, just paint the picture. eBay made a big announcement this week, and they said basically, professional authenticators, your card is authenticated by third-party pros. Authentication is now available only for ungraded cards at $750 plus, and not for patch cards and not for autograph cards. So the only category of cards, this card would not make it. All right, this card would not make it. It would have to be raw, and it has to be $750 or more. And then verified returns. If you allow returns and a buyer wishes to return a card, it will be re-inspected by the authenticators. If you do not accept returns, that sale is final. So that's pretty crucial. No cost to you. eBay covers all the costs. All right, let her rip.
But didn't they say something about eventually they want to get to a point where it's graded cards 250 and up? Is that, or did someone make that up?
No, yes. And I think I have to imagine that the reason why they're starting at 750 and up and only doing raw, non-auto, non-memorabilia cards is just so that they can test the waters, see what the, how labor intensive this is, because the last thing eBay could want to do is create a backlog of purchased items. And they've probably seen how this industry can get backed up because there's just so much demand for it. So but yeah, you're right. There were statements that by the summer, this was going to be $250 and above.
Yeah, my reaction is like, was this a problem before? I'm confused. Like, has this been an issue with people? Like, I can't think of a single case where someone was like, oh God, this thing I bought from eBay, I'm outraged at eBay did not, like solving this for me. It's like, we already have these authentication streams in place, and we already have solutions to all these problems, including PSA, which will like grade it for you and literally like guarantee the value and buy it back from you if they're wrong. Like, I don't know how much better you could get than that. And it brings into question, like, so if you're buying let's say we fast forward and to when the full thing is implemented, and you buy a PSA graded card, it goes to CSG and they're going to authenticate the authenticated card. This problem makes sense for shoes because they didn't have like a grading system in place. They didn't have they didn't have grading shoes. So like someone had to step in and do this. So StockX filled the gap, and then eBay started doing the same thing to compete. But here we already have like all these different things solved. So I just like it's not really apples to apples. It seems like they're trying to boost the eBay market, knowing that it worked for them with shoes, and they're like, oh, let's just do that again with cards. It'll help us. It seems like a logistical nightmare, dude. How is that even going to work? And there's like 50,000 things sold on eBay, so CSG is going to get 50,000 cards to authenticate every day. Like, how's that going to work?
Yep, all good points. Go ahead.
I'm concerned because you read before that it said that if the seller doesn't accept returns, then it's final. If CSG says that it's real, but then if you go to PSA or BGS, an actual like top authenticator in this space, and they come back and they say, no, this isn't real. This is a good reprint, but no, this is fake. What's your recourse?
Well, then I suppose you would have to act against eBay as the authenticator of the item. I mean, my take is this. Make no mistake about it. eBay is getting into the grading game. And authentication is the most important part of grading. Grading is useless if the grader is unable to authenticate the item. So eBay is here. They are getting involved in that business. and they are seeking to serve the customer on an end-to-end basis, from raw card to authentication to placing it with the buyer. And there's been a land grab in the hobby over the last 2 years to acquire market share in the grading world. We've seen dozens of grading companies pop up. They continue to pop up. I think not only is it obviously a lucrative space to be in, but there's just something that people like about owning a grading company. People just like it. They just act like entrepreneurs and investors really enjoy the idea of owning a grading company. Perhaps not knowing how much work goes into it, because you need to have checklists and you need to have researchers and you need to do the authentication and you need to build databases, and it's really hard. It's a really, really hard thing to do. So eBay is sort of bogarting its way into the authentication game. They're saying you are going to have your items authenticated by CSG, which is eBay's third-party authenticator. And the only thing that's weird that I can't quite put my finger on is eBay's not charging you anything for it. So that's the puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit for me. But
they must have like a lot of returns, or they must have to eat costs a lot, that they're saying like,
yeah, no, we can figure out the economics of it. Like, yeah, it probably does make dollars and cents.
Like you're not. Don't act like you're surprised.
I am still surprised that they wouldn't charge you for a seemingly valuable service.
Well, they're making it mandatory. They can't charge you now if they're saying it's mandatory. They need you to get like used to this, and then when eBay fees rise by $10 or 10%, you're not surprised when it's for this service.
Publius, and then someone else in the chat said, oh, why don't they solve the problem that we have been complaining about from them for years, which is like shill bidding? We're giving you a problem, eBay. Solve shill bidding. Figure that out. Stop letting that happen. Instead, we're getting, this like, hey, look over here kind of thing of like, we're going to do something different. It's like, I wish each company would just focus on what they're good at and what they do and make that perfect before trying to solve the next problem that nobody's asked for. That's my take. Frustrating.
Yep.
And like, dude, I can authenticate stuff probably better than like whatever they're gonna like. I just, I'm not gonna. Why would I want to wait 2 extra weeks for something to ship when I already know it's real because I've done my homework on it?
Yeah.
You're punishing. You're like it's like a lowest common denominator thing. You're punishing me because most people don't know what they're looking at on eBay and they're just buying stuff randomly and like hoping it's real. Which I know most people aren't doing that, but like some people are. It's just the lowest common denominator. It's just like,
yeah. And if we all can make a plea for something that eBay might do, I will ask if eBay would directly publish its best offer accepted and private offer accepted prices on sold and completed listings. That's my request, please, eBay. If you would do that, I would sing your praises for 2 hours straight the next crossover. So there's a real and present need for transparency in market pricing. If instead of having to go to 130 points or Card Ladder sales history, if you could just go right to the sold and completed listings and see the true price accepted.
Do you feel like you and I and like our brand and our audience and this show, do you feel like we're a good representation of the hobby, or are we just a couple of jerk-offs who just like say random shit on a Friday night?
Definitely a couple of jerk-offs saying random shit on a Friday night.
But luckily the hobby's full of jerk-offs, so you guys are representation.
Oh, trick question. Both. We're both.
No, I don't. I know you're joking, but I just feel like this is the hobby, this show, like us, people, collectors, random people on the show, people, our audience, like you and I, we're just random guys that talk about the hobby every day because we love it so much. But we are a representation of what it is, and we're not asking for this. Are you listening to the hobby? Are you listening to the people who pay money for this stuff? Just listen. Just go on these shows. Go on the forums, go on YouTube, and hear what the problems are and solve those problems. Every feature that we build for Card Ladder is what people complain at me about, because these are what they want. These are what the collectors. There's my rant for the week, man. Just listen to what the hobby wants. Nobody wants a freaking end-to-end solution. Like, we're all stuck in our ways of like, I like my grades this way. I like buying from this source. I like collecting this certain thing. I don't really want someone else telling me how to do it. It's not brutal. It's my way. It's the way that I've always done it.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt.
So start to list, like, watch these shows. Not, you don't have to watch our show. Watch whatever you want. Go watch Sports Card Nonsense. Go watch Wax Museum Podcast. They're out there. Like, they're telling you what they want all the time. All of us. It's honestly like an obnoxious amount of people complaining about what they want. Just like, listen.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree.
Imagine everything you love about the hobby in the palm of your hand. An entire store at your fingertips. Everything you need to know about cards is within your grasp. Unlock the secrets of the hobby. Plus, so much more. You don't have to imagine anymore. It's here. Card Ladder. Get the app today.